I tested the theory that every Animal Crossing villager is someone's favorite, and I received over 15,000 responses from people telling me their favorite Animal Crossing villager. Animal Crossing is a cozy life simulation game developed by Nintendo that was first released exclusively in Japan on Nintendo 64 in 2001. The first installment later received localization and a worldwide release after the launch of the Nintendo GameCube September 2002. Nintendo simply describes it as a game series where you can create your own world with adorable animal villagers, but it's much more than that, and I think all the responses I received proved it. I posted a short form video to TikTok and YouTube where I asked people to tell me their favorite Animal Crossing villager, promising I'd perform a data analysis on all the comments I received, so this is that. Throughout this video, you'll see me place in areas on my own Animal Crossing New Horizons island, so if you'd like to see more and visit it for yourself, here's the full map and dream address. If you're new here and weren't able to vote in the poll, introduce yourself in the comments and tell me your favorite Animal Crossing villager. My name is Aaron and my favorite is Julian. I like to explore the emotional impact that video games have on us. My content blends nostalgia, data, and creativity, from analyzing fan polls with thousands of responses to capturing plush and figures through the lens of photography. I strive to create an inclusive space for people who see gaming as more than just games. So make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. With every poll I've conducted, I like to provide a disclaimer to remind people that this is probably deeply flawed, so it's not that serious, but I've had the privilege of studying psychology and data analysis in college, so I kind of know what I'm doing. Every survey, whether you're aware of it or not, has bias, and they can never truly be designed perfectly, so they should be treated as generalizations and not fact. It'd be impossible for me to test every single Animal Crossing fan in the world, and not even Nintendo can do that. Prior to this Animal Crossing poll, I attempted to run a poll for only Gen 1 Pokemon, which received not enough attention for me to want to run another data analysis experiment like this. To attempt to get a better turnout, I cross-posted the initial voting video to both TikTok and YouTube to see if I was able to get additional votes that way, but the YouTube short only received 14 total comments as opposed to TikTok's almost 5,000. I still wanted more comments though, so I posted 2 more videos to TikTok where people could place their votes. The second video received about 4,000 comments, while the third received over 8,000. My goal was at least 10,000 total votes because that's around where my shiny Pokemon poll was at. Voting officially ended on July 12th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Pacific, and then the data extraction began. If you watch either of my previous data analysis videos that I did for Pokemon, then you already understand how I was able to extract all these comments. To make this video comprehensive, I stumbled upon a website known as igcomment.com, which is really a platform known for letting you buy followers and likes on TikTok and Instagram. As someone who works in digital marketing, I don't ever recommend using services like these, but there's a hidden free service on this website that allows you to load all your TikTok comments 50 at a time, and it cleanly exports them into a spreadsheet. I've tried a lot of similar services and I've even paid for a few, but this is truly the best option. The only downside is that you have to keep clicking a button to continue loading comments, which takes nearly an hour if you receive 20,000 comments. While these comments were exported into a spreadsheet already, that didn't mean the work was done because the data still had to be cleaned and votes needed to be verified. So I used spreadsheet formulas like COUNTIF to count up the total votes for each individual villager, and also determine whether a villager entry was spelled correctly. Something I learned how to do in a spreadsheet just for this project was calculating a star sign from a given birthday using VLOOKUP. Each individual comment was looked at, and luckily I had help processing these comments from Crispy Nintendo, so please thank him in the comments and check out his socials in the description. From the nearly 20,000 comments I received, which were full of love and passion for the Animal Crossing franchise, here's a few that stood out to me. Gestalt voted for Nibbles and said that they were their first villager ever when they started playing City Folk. And this is a good example of nostalgia bias, where our fondness for something may be influenced by when we first experienced it. Clem Fandango voted for Peaches and explained that when she first moved to their island, they weren't sure about her but came around to finding them sweet. This displays the exposure effect, where the more we see something, the more we tend to like it. Bean Sweat voted for Phoebe, having them as a starter villager in both New Leaf and New Horizons, and they both share a birthday, so their love for them can be attributed to in-group bias, where we naturally prefer those who resemble us or align with our identities. Every Animal Crossing villager that appeared after the very first title has a birthday, so use my spreadsheet as a resource to find your birthday twin. Mine's Dizzy. Doolily Corner voted for Fauna and wants to remind you that you're valid even if you vote for a villager that's a fan favorite. They're popular for a good reason. While this is very true, people also might have voted for a specific villager due to social desirability bias, which causes us to place a vote based on what we think others will approve of. Due to the fact that votes weren't anonymous and publicly available, I think this type of bias could have been heightened. To my surprise, I received a lot of comments that contain villager names in different languages, with most of them being in French and German. So here's some non-English names if you aren't already familiar. Anka is known as Cleo in Italian, Flora is known as Justine in French, and Pee-wee is known as Manfred in German, but also that's Sterling's name in French, so there's unfortunately a lost vote for one of those two. Kid Cat, Agent S, Big Top, and Rocket, which are a reference to Super Sentai, are known as 1-Go, 2-Go, 3-Go, and 4-Go respectively in Japanese. But there's actually another member of their squad known as Philly in English and 7-Go in Japanese that I think not many people know about, because they were part of a limited time collaboration that Animal Crossing New Leaf had with 7-Eleven in Japan from November 2016 to January 2017 and March 2nd through 6th, 2018. While you're unable to have Philly live in your town and they really only exist to give you the 7-Eleven themed furniture set, they're still classified as a villager. There's also a section in the spreadsheet labeled foreign names if you'd like to see if your favorite villagers have different names in another language. The top 10 villagers after receiving 15,236 valid entries: Bob with 177 votes, Lolly with 182 votes, Punchy with 186 votes, Molly with 199 votes, Kiki with 201 votes, Lucky with 203 votes, Pietro with 209 votes, Coco with 210 votes, Ketchup with 259 votes, and Stitches with 278 votes. You may have noticed that I said valid entries. While I would have liked to have more votes, a lot of the entries that were discarded included people who tried to vote multiple times or their comment didn't provide any relevant information. The villagers on my islands aren't necessarily all my favorites, but I do like all of them. When choosing my villagers, I wanted to make sure that each one was a different animal and I had every personality type represented. So let's see how they did. We already know Kiki was in 6th place with 201 votes, Lucky was in 5th place with 203 votes, and also Ketchup in 2nd place with 259 votes, and I promise that's all the popular villagers I have. Julian is my favorite, and that's who I voted for, and they ranked 80th place with 56 votes. Static received 82nd place with 55 votes. Lyman was in 112th place with 41 votes. Marina ranked 22nd place with 143 votes. Diana ranked 70th place with 63 votes. Marty, who actually replaced Stitches on my islands, got 364th place with 4 votes. And Quinn landed in 335th place with 7 votes. From my observations, it seems like I mostly received participation from people who've only played Animal Crossing New Horizons, so here are some trends and insights that might allude to that. In the top 10, you might have noticed that almost half of it is made up of cat villagers, and cats as a whole also happen to receive the most votes at 1,927. Second place went to dogs at 1,254 votes, and third belongs to bear cubs at 897 votes. While a lot of the cats are pretty great, cat villagers are the most represented animal species in Animal Crossing, with a population of 26, with 23 of them being available in New Horizons. Lazy villagers were the most popular, receiving about 25% of the votes, while snooty villagers were the least popular at less than 5% of the votes. Representation of star signs were pretty evenly distributed, but the most popular was Pisces at almost 12% of the votes. Something I was disappointed in with the release of New Horizons was that the villagers based on Nintendo characters and feline were missing. It didn't make sense to me that the Sanrio collaboration villagers made a return while Nintendo's own IPs didn't. I thought they were fun, but I guess the exposure effect came into play here because a lot of them received little to zero votes. Another collaboration villager that I want to highlight that's similar to Philly in that they can't actually live in your town is Holden. It makes sense that both Philly and Holden receive 0 votes because that parasocial relationship wouldn't really develop with someone who's only temporarily around. Like Philly, Holden was introduced in New Leaf with the Welcome Amiibo update. From February 2017 to May 2017, you could invite him to the campground with his RV. Holden was part of a collaboration with a Japanese company known as Fueki, who primarily offer glue and stationery products. His design is based off of Fueki's mascot. There were 67 total villagers that received 0 votes, and this includes Isle, Analog, Azes, Belle, Betty, Biddy, Bow, Brofina, Carrot, Cece, Champ, Chico, Chuck, Clara, Cupcake, Dozer, Elena, Epona, Philly, Flash, Flossie, Fruity, Gannon, Jen, Hambo, Hank, Hector, Holden, Huggy, Inkwell, Joe, Jubei, Kit, Koharu, Lee, Liz, both Lulus, Madame Rosa, Masa, Medley, Megumi, Miranda, Nindori, Nosegay, Otis, Oxford, Patricia, Penny, Petunia, Pierre, Pigleg, Poco, Portia, Quetzal, Rhoda, Rolo, Shinabiru, Shokichi, Sui, Taro, Tiara, Twerp, Felice, Viche, Weldon, Wulio, and Yodel. 51 of these villagers from this list included villagers that only appeared in the very first Animal Crossing title. If you take a look at the spreadsheet, which I've provided a link to in the description, you can see in the Animal Dex sheet that there are columns that indicate which titles each villager appeared in. There are also attributes like, obviously I had to include the species of animal, but I've also included personality type, birthdays, and their star sign. You can see all the comments that were received and other analysis data if you're interested in that. So did every Animal Crossing villager receive a vote? Unfortunately, no. This data isn't reflective of every Animal Crossing fan, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. If anything, it highlights how many villagers we don't talk about anymore and maybe how nostalgia, exposure, and social trends shape the way we remember them. One of my favorite parts of conducting this poll wasn't just the data itself, but reading the thousands of comments from people pouring their hearts out over their favorite villagers. Villagers tied to memories of first playthroughs, birthdays, or just the feeling of finally finding someone who got them, and I can relate with all of that. I've been playing Animal Crossing since 2002, and it's always been more than just a game to me. It's a space to imagine, decorate, collect, and connect. And more recently, I think it became something even more meaningful to a lot of us. During the early days of the COVID pandemic, New Horizons gave us all a way to interact with people when the world felt uncertain. We made friends, memories, and we coped. So while this data may not be perfect, it tells a story, one shaped by who we are, what we've been through, and the characters who stuck with us. So whether your favorite was in the top 10, the bottom 10, or didn't get a vote at all of them still matter. So I hope this has given you something to reflect on, smile about, and maybe you even learned something new. If you made it this far, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Check the description for access to the spreadsheet and all my social links if you want to find me elsewhere and see what I'm up to. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to keep loving what you love.